Hello and welcome to Betfair's season previews, a preview I've been looking forward to, and it's going to be an interesting watch for Carlton fans. Are they going to make the finals for the first time since 2013? Who knows at this point? We'll have a chat with Darren Parkin about this. Daz, what do you reckon about the Blues in 2023?
Yeah, I reckon, speaking from experience, barracking for the team I barrack for, I reckon as soon as last year finished, Carlton fans would have walked out of the MCG wanting to come back the next day and start 2023 and try to right those wrongs. They spent the entire year in the top eight and obviously got knocked out by Collingwood in heartbreaking fashion on the last day of the season. Do you think that'll motivate them or hurt them, I guess, when it comes to the back end of the year?
It's a good question, Daz, and I think maybe in previous years it may have hurt them, but given Voss is now their coach and he's such an imposing figure around the club and he's very, very confident, I think he's going to give nothing but that confidence to the players, and that energy is certainly contagious around a club like Carlton at the moment. And all you hear out of Princes Park at the moment is positivity. So yeah, I think that they should be looking towards making the finals this year. It's whether or not maybe they can go a little step further and jump to maybe a top four. But yeah, in terms of a breakout year, I've done or had a look at Carlton's list, and I've profiled Jesse Motlop as a player that I think will certainly be one of those to have a breakout year for Carlton. I think if Carlton want to progress forward into the finals, I think Jesse Motlop is going to be invaluable. He played 12 games last year, averaging a goal a game, so he kicked 12 goals. I think he plays a really exciting brand of football, and something Carlton was definitely missing out of their forward and defence is that tackling pressure. Most of their tackling power came from their midfield arsenal. So obviously if they can increase that tackling power in their forward line and get a spread of tackles, I think, yeah, it'll only lead to Carlton playing better and probably more consistently in those dark type of games, you know, against Collingwood and Melbourne, where they get tight. You need the tacklers to step up. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Dave?
you should get plenty of chances too. If you look at the forward line set up at Carlton, they've got the two big boys who have both won Coleman medals, and if you look at the premiership sides of recent years, obviously Richmond had Riewoldt and Lynch. Obviously they won one of those flags with just Riewoldt, but Riewoldt and Lynch. Geelong recently with Hawkins and Cameron. I know Melbourne, they weren't as big a names, but they had McDonald and Brown with a resting ruckman, so they're having multiple talls, and Carlton have got those options, and obviously that then creates crumbs, and you think Motlop will certainly get those sorts of chances. And yeah, the Cozzy Pickett comparison I think is a really good one. So yeah, Carlton's forward line dynamic certainly I think fits the bill for a very good team.
Well, just on Cozzy Pickett, and I don't mean to be too cheeky, and I know we need to move on, but Cozzy Pickett in his first year in the AFL kicked 7 goals from 14 games, kind of similar to that of Jesse Motlop, but his next year he went on to kick 40 and win a premiership. So I'm not saying that's going to happen to Jesse Motlop, but certainly when your small forwards are firing, it can end most likely in success for your team. But in terms of a best and fairest, Smokey, look, there's so many players at Carlton that could potentially win that best and fairest. Patrick Cripps, Sam Walsh, Sam Doherty, who had an outstanding season last year, Charlie Curnow, Coleman as well, Jacob Wiedering, Adam Sard. I'm going to go with a real left field one, and I'm going to say Mitch McGovern. Not for the fact that I think he's necessarily going to go out and win a best and fairest, but I think he's so important to Carlton's side. Just running the data, I think in games that he's played, Carlton are a 7% chance better of winning games when he's playing. So obviously playing in the back line and having that intercept marking game, but not only just that, moving the ball quickly when he gets it, probably something that he offers that Liam Jones didn't quite. I think Mitch McGovern, if he can stay fit and firing, he's going to have a fantastic year for the Blues.
Yeah, to assist Wiedering, if you've got the two tools at the other end of the ground, and best and fairest is often when those roles are identified. Obviously Brownlow's, they're not necessarily going to get a lot of votes, but people like Michael Voss and the coaching staff will know how important he is, and that'll get reflected at that time of year. So I do like that a lot. I'm curious to see with Doherty too. I know you mentioned him in that list, but they pushed him up into the middle a bit more. Then Williams did his knee in the pre-season, who would have played off half-back. So does Doherty stay middle, or does he go back into that half-back role? I think they'll try to keep him on the ball. He's been that good. But yeah, it'll be fascinating to see the role he plays.
Yeah, certainly does. And look, let's look towards a betting strategy for the Blues. And they're a hard team to bet around on the exchange. I mean, obviously their odds to make the top 8 have shortened significantly given the expectation from punters for Carlton to make the top 8. Look, I've gone with another left field one, another Betfair Exchange betting strategy. Carlton start the season with 2 incredibly hard games. I don't think that Richmond at the MCG in round 1 is any lock by no stretch of the imagination, and then you obviously got the reigning premiers in round 2 in Geelong. So currently Carlton are around the $1.50 mark, and I think that's too short to back them. If they do go ahead and lose those first 2 games, I think they'll drift in the market. So yeah, potentially lay them now before the season starts, and if they go 0-2, yeah, their odds should drift, and I think they should become a more backable price. And from round 2 onwards, Daz, I think Carlton fans will probably be smiling. But that's all we have time for Carlton's season preview. We look forward to bringing you more season previews, and if you would like to see all the work that the Betfair team have done, head to the Betfair Hub now.
Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.